welcome back, guys. It's It's 10 a.m. here in downtown sunny OMG Megacow, and I've got some really important stuff I want to show you this time around. So a couple of really good examples of a few things. Look at the Omega Tower, ominously up on the cliff, overlooking the place. Ooh, I'm loving this city now. I have had such fun this morning playing around with this. Let me show you what I've done. And last time I didn't show you this, so let me show you. I put in an extra row across here and another row across here, either side of the Omega Co factories. Now the primary reason for putting those in is to help with the water distribution. And I had a couple of questions about, why have you put these water pumps over here on these rows? Okay, what happens is when you get water in from the region as opposed to getting it locally, let me kind of show you if I can, because this is kind of important, kind of interesting. You get different sizes of these blobs that go around. Okay, the water that you produce locally tends to produce a lot of very small blobs that don't satisfy that many houses, like each blob. When you get it from the region, they tend to be larger. They'll satisfy a lot more houses or factories or whatever as they pass them. Okay, that's the first thing. And let me show you. See how big these blobs are, right? Because we're pulling in a lot of electricity, it's bringing them in big chunks. Okay, and this is probably a better. You can probably see it better with the power. Right, now look at the distribution throughout the city, and you'll see that there's loads in the centre, right? Lots of them whizzing up and down. But as you go further out, there are less and less, right? See, there's only very few here. There's loads here, okay? And it's just about this 50-50 splitting. Which means that you end up with a lot more in the centre and not very much on the outsides. And look, there's very few over here. In fact, it's not complaining. Oh, that's about to start complaining. Right, there you go. You see. Fortunately, there's not a lot there, so it's not a big deal. Okay, so the distribution is an issue, and it's exactly the same with the water. Let me slow this down for a minute, because I want to show you some other stuff, and I don't want it to go away before I've shown you. Okay, so if we go to the water, right, exactly the same issue with the water. Okay, I guess I need to. You can see it more clearly if I speed it. I'm going to zoom in a bit. The water, see. It's not quite as clear as the power. The power shows up very, very clearly. So what I've done is, on these edges, is put these little water pumps in. And it's amazing that just providing a little bit of water here just helps to solve the problems. But also, putting in these extra roads down here, right, helps when I'm going to switch back to the power because it's just so much easier to see with the power. When power's coming down these central routes, it provides another opportunity for it to split off and get across here. And I might put another row in across the centre here, which again would help to distribute it. When you've got a pretty much gridded city, the 50-50 splitting will distribute the power pretty evenly over the city. But where you've got these long uninterrupted roads, it doesn't distribute the power very well. So it's something we're going to have to keep an eye on. It's something we're going to have to work on. But it's solvable. It's definitely solvable. Like this power issue over here, easily solvable. All I need to do, come over here, and put in a power plant. But this time, instead of whacking a full-blown power plant in, I'm just going to put in like one burner. I'm not getting any snap points at the moment. Why? I'm getting snap points over here. It's not giving me any snap points over there. So this corner's a little bit temperamental, I've noticed. This, I had problems getting this thing in. Come on, give me some bloomin' snap points. Sometimes it will and sometimes it won't. It's really kind of a bit weird. Let's try, let's just do that. Can you give me snap points now? No, it's still giving me snap points over here, but not over here. Weird. Very weird. Okay, doesn't matter. We'll pop them in that case where we can put them in. So I think we'll just pop them in here. We're probably only going to lose like, one factory maybe. I will play around with it afterwards and see if I can move it over here. But for now, we just pop this guy in. Come on, go to the right snap point. These snap points are definitely playing around with me today. Right, let's pop you in there, and we'll get rid of the old chimney. People nag me about these. I like these single stack chimneys, and I think putting different ones in kind of makes it interesting. But because I'm just putting one in for now, I'm going to put it on the top. Yeah, I'm going to put it on the top. Adds a bit of height. Right, remember to turn on the global deliveries, which I usually forget. Excellent. Now that's going to start producing some power, and you see it like splits off all over the place, and it's just going to fill in what we need over in these end rows. So there you go. So that's how we solve our distribution issue. All we have to do is make sure that we don't produce too much that it switches off our regional supply. Cool. Excellent. Right. What did I want to show you next? What did I want to show you? Oh, I wanted to show you these extra roads that I've put in. Okay, so let's get rid of the power. Right. What I've done is I've put in some two-way streets here. Okay. And they just run from that. Ignore this bit. That's actually left over from something that I put in here, and I don't even know what the hell it was. There's two over there as well. I'm hoping there's a new update coming out to Bulldoze, the regional Bulldoze tool. I'm hoping it's going to get rid of these annoying little things. But yeah, keep an eye out for Skye Pack. There's probably going to be a Skye Pack update today. Right. What was I talking about? I'm all over the place. These roads, yeah. So I've put in these two-way streets up here, and what it means is that the Omega trucks, when they go down here and deliver, they can just whiz straight back up to the factories rather than having to go the whole way around to the city, and that just speeds up the Omega deliveries, and that's improved things quite a lot. Right, what else have I done? Right, I've started to repopulate, and I've started with this row here, okay, and I've repopulated this row completely, okay. And I've moved I've moved the colleges. They were up here, just the other side of the garbage dumps, and I've moved them back down here to see if that would solve the problem that I've got down here. Well, let's have a look. Let's have a look at the education situation, because the answer is no, it hasn't. Right? What's happened is we've now got it's moved it, right? So it was a bit further up here. Moving this back down to here has moved it down, but we've now got this patch at the end, right? So it is kind of a distribution issue. It's a distribution issue. I've got distribution on the brain. It's a range issue, but what I don't understand is that these buildings on the end, they're going to this college fine. So, man, I don't know. I think what I'm going to have to do is put in 2 lines of colleges. So 1 line of colleges here, 1 line of colleges a bit further up there. And that would give me the full coverage. And I think that's probably what I'm going to do. I might play around with using high schools. I don't know. I really am not a big fan of high schools, and I probably should get over it and start using them more, but kind of it is what it is. Right, now if you remember in the last video, the big issue was crime. Okay, now I put this row in to see what the effect would be on crime of having a fully populated row, because something that I didn't mention in the last episode when I was talking about crime is criminals love commercial. They like to commit their crimes primarily in commercial buildings. There's a commercial building right there. If they can't get to commercial, then they will kind of like do a bit in the industrial. They might commit crimes in parks, and very, very occasionally in residential. And it also depends on the type of criminal. Like murderers are more likely to commit crimes in like residential and stuff, like muggers and petty criminals. The low-end criminals, they prefer shops, robbing shops and stuff. Arsonists, which is another like top-end criminal, murderers and arsonists, they'll burn down anything. Right, okay, so let's see what the impact has been on our crime. Now, crime we peaked at just over 1,400 criminals. Let's see what it is now. We are down to 1,000. 1,046, so we've come down by over 350. Just from putting this row in, right? And let me show you why. And this is such a great illustration. Like, this could not show it better. Right, let me zoom out a little bit. Could you see there's kind of a little pattern here? Right? If I zoom in, right, you can see it really easily now. Right, these handcuffs are where there have been arrests. Okay, so there's arrests in these 2 buildings, arrests in these 2 buildings, an arrest in this one, an arrest in this one, an arrest in these 2 buildings. Well, guess what those buildings have in common? Yep, they're the commercial buildings. Right, every 4th building is a commercial building. So that's commercial, residential, 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 no crimes. Commercial, there's a crime. Then residential, commercial, residential, commercial. And you can see the criminals are just going for those commercial buildings. So now I've put more commercial in, because a lot of most of the commercial burned down. Now that I've put that commercial in, we're getting more crimes committed, which means we're arresting them, which means that the criminals at large number goes down. There you go. See? Right. So, in actual fact, when I first put this row in, there were so many crimes that the police actually couldn't keep up. So I've actually increased the number of police cars in this police station up to 10. And they're still getting away with a few crimes, but I'm kind of not too worried about that. Like, less than 10 crimes a day, I can live with for now. And I don't want to go like overboard. You can see that relatively small changes can have a very big impact on your city. So you kind of need to do these things, you know, bit by bit, and get the balance right. I don't want to put too many police in. If I put too many police in, it'll discourage the criminals from committing crimes along here, and then we'll have, you know, we'll go back to the same problem that we had before. And if we look up here, you can see there's like 1 crime up there in the industrial. They really love the commercial buildings. There's a crime over here, and I'll bet you that's a commercial building. Oh, was that one? Yep, commercial. Well, what a surprise. Okay, so like, what else can we do to help the crime situation? Well, the only other thing we can do is to produce less criminals. That's education, and we're not doing too badly at the moment. We're up to like a solid 4 hats, 4 out of 5. We're getting like 5,000 students going to college out of 6,690, but we need to improve it even further. So I think I'm gonna have to play around more with these colleges or schools. Probably, yeah, probably move the rows so that we get complete coverage with the colleges. I do like colleges, I really do. They're so efficient, they're so good. A lot of people love high schools, swear by them. I hate them, mainly because they involve using buses, and God, I hate buses with a vengeance. Right. Well, kind of the only thing to do now is just to carry on plopping in these rows bit by bit, balancing the when I put this row in, I added in some more omega, put in another omega factory. I need to put in another drones factory. So I'm going to start repopulating these rows, fill them in. I'll add in the omega, add in the industry, and I'll keep an eye on the education and the police and the fire and stuff, and just build it up bit by bit and balance each of the stats. But you can see that right now, like, everything's very cool. Right, we've got no issues there. The only thing that's complaining is omega. Oh, they've got a worker shortage, which kind of is perhaps not a surprise. The one thing I do have to keep an eye on is whether we're getting missing workers, and this is a problem that a lot of you will have run into, whether you have realised it or not. It's where you start getting worker shortages, but you've actually got like plenty of workers, and you only need to supply about 50% of the workers for the amount of jobs that you've got. Let me show you. So total jobs in this city is 31,000, right? I'm actually a bit low. You need to be over 50% to prevent worker shortages, so I'm actually a little bit on the low side. I need to throw in some more residential. Most of the residential burned down. But as long as you keep like over 50%, I recommend sort of 60%-ish is a good number. You should be filling all your jobs. But sometimes you'll find that it doesn't matter how many people you supply. Oh no, looking at the wrong number. We've got 17,000. We've only got 13,000 jobs available. So I'm at about that 60% number. So yeah, that's about right. So it could be that I've got missing workers. What happens is workers just disappear, right? They just disappear from the city, and you end up with empty houses. Now the houses sit there, right? Your population number will stay the same because the population number is based off the houses, not the individual people. Okay? So if they go missing, you don't know about it. And what happens is you end up with like houses that don't have a full number of people in. You think you've got plenty of workers. In actual fact, you don't. So, and there's kind of not too much you can do about that other than repopulate. And you can either knock down your houses and rebuild them, which is one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is to build a mega tower with an apartment block as the first level. When the people leave that to go to work, and you can do it, this works for students as well, because the same thing happens with students. When people leave that block, you then demolish the block, and when they've finished work or finished going to school, instead of going back to that mega tower, they just go to like any old house they can find. And you may need to do that 2 or 3 times or whatever, but you can repopulate the missing workers and the missing students of a city by doing that. There you go, another little tip. Right. Okay, I think yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. So I'll get on with continuing to repopulate this, and I think now it's just a case of seeing, like, how big we can get. Omega profits, we're over 200,000, and that's going up. I'll just show you quickly the Omega map. As you can see, this is all new stuff that I've put in. It hasn't switched to Omega yet. Once we get that up, I mean, that's probably going to take us up to like 300,000 pretty easy. Ho, 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 ho. Numbers are going to start getting big, guys. And as you can see, I'm going to keep an eye on the lag. And at the moment, no lag issues, guys. No lag issues. But I'll talk more about the lag and how I've decreased it and what you can do to have a lag-free existence with bigger maps as we go through. But enough chat. I'm going to get on with it. Catch you for the next one, guys.